Okay, hello. I'm back. I'm going to be making the Traveler's Notebook cover out of this placemat today. I talked about this in a previous video. This is a placemat that I picked up last Christmas, well, after last Christmas on clearance, and I'm going to make a Traveler's Notebook cover out of it. I picked it up at Target. Just FYI, it's a Thresholds brand in case anyone is wanting to know. Let's see. Where do I start? Okay, I have this template, which I made a long time ago, for a Traveler's Notebook cover. This is for a standard 8.5 by 4, no, 8.25 by 4.5 inch insert, Traveler's Notebook insert. This is the cover, which I created, and it has the measurements, the template for the cover, which I created, has the measurements on here, just in case you want to know. It is 215 by 255 millimeters, or if you prefer inches, it's 10 by 8 3/8 inches. What I'm going to do first thing I'm going to do is I have this thick interfacing. It is by Pellon. It is single-sided fusible ultra-firm stabilizer, also known as interfacing. I used to be able to get double-sided fusible, which means it would fuse the fabric on both sides, but at my local craft store I can no longer find that. So thank you, Hobby Lobby, for that. And so I get this, which is fine. I do like that it's fusible on both sides, because then I don't have to glue or worry about the fabric coming loose on one side or the other. So I'm going to just measure, or just lay this down and trace it. It is literally that simple. Well, once you have a template, it's literally that simple. This edge is not, I can use this edge, but this edge is not cut straight, so I'm going to have to cut it too. I'm going to cut it out. And then I can decide what part of the fabric I want to use by just placing this over the images, because that fabric has multiple images on it. I think I've decided what part I want to use, but I often change my mind. Alright, I'm going to get this out of the way. Now, I like this ice skating scene with a bit of that house there. I think that's, yeah, the pattern repeats. So I'm going to use this corner right here, and I'm going to cut it so that I cut off this this hem as well, because I don't want two sides to be hemmed and the other parts not. Two sides hemmed and two sides not hemmed, that just wouldn't look right. So I'm going to move this over a little bit so I have room to cut that off and still have space to stitch, because I'm going to be stitching right on this edge. So if my fabric doesn't overhang that a little bit, I'll be stitching right on the edge of my fabric, which is not as secure. So I'm going to move this over a bit. I'm just going to cut. So I'm going to cut off these hemmed edges here. Maybe, if it'll let me. I'm gonna take this over. Ooh, that's close. I may not have given myself as much room as I thought I did, but it's still enough. As long as I'm careful. I'm gonna iron this to, unfortunately, to just one side. You can tell which side is the side that will iron because it feels rough because it has like a glue on there that is activated by heat. It melts it, and then adheres it to the fabric, and the other side is soft. So I'm going to go iron that, and then I'm going to stitch around the edge, and then I'll be back. Okay, I have run a zigzag stitch all the way around the edge, and I just very barely left myself enough fabric here on the top edge. So do give yourself plenty of fabric. Don't short yourself. It does make things a little bit more difficult. But there was just enough to be able to stitch it, and the way I like to stitch it, I just want to say the reason I stitch right on the very edge is so that when you open it up like that, you don't see that white interfacing. And I think, yeah, no, I had just enough fabric, and I don't have any white interfacing showing. So now I'm going to just trim off the rest of this fairly close. I wasn't going to go that close, but because that is, I'm going to make them all match. Okay, there is our insert, not our insert, our cover. I'll trim this up just so the fabrics line up a bit better. There we go. And now we're going to put eyelets in. Now, yeah. Let me clean up my mess real quick, get this stuff out of the way. I have kids and dogs in the background. It's Thanksgiving break, so they're here. I need to find my template. Hold that up. Okay, found it. So I'm going to lay it on here, and I'm going to feel for where the interfacing is, and I'm going to put it on. Square with the interfacing as best I can. I gave up trying to make things perfect ages ago. And this template has holes punched in it already, so I just have to take a marker and mark, which I have black fabric, so this might be a little more challenging than I thought. Hopefully, if I make these dark enough, this is white down here, that'll be easy. I'll be able to see that. Oh yeah. Oh, and I just wanted to point out, this cardboard is just something from some packaging. I think it was like the back of a paper pad or something like that that I saved and cut and did all the measurements on and stuff. Nothing fancy. So now I'm going to use my crocodile to punch the holes where I want them. And this is going to have, it has two at the top, two at the bottom, so I can have two elastics, and then I have the center one for the closure. And I'm going to just measure, and I have this set. My thing is really old, and I mean, it's dusty and dirty. It's not really old. I mean, I've had it for several years, but anyways, it just kind of sits on a shelf until I need it. 1/8 inch hole. Nope, is that right? Three-eighths. Let's see. 3/16. I have to put it on the 3/16 hole. I'm using, I'll just show you. the We Are Memory Keepers eyelets, standard eyelets, they are 3/16 inch. So I had to find my packaging. So 3/16 punch. And now what I'm going to do is I have stitching down here. I don't want to punch through my stitching. So I'm going to line this up. And you're looking down at it, so you're not really going to be able to tell, but I'm going to line it up so that it's on the hole, but not through the stitching, if that makes sense. So it may be a little bit narrower this way, which I'm okay with. Since this is just for me. See, you can see the hole there, and I was right on the edge. I almost did, but I didn't quite punch through the edge. Through the thread. Because if you do punch through the thread, it'll come unraveled, and then your cover will fall apart. So, and then I'm going to they like to hang on, so you have to cut them off. I have to let you. Which I could have punched all of them and then done that, but oh well. I like to do things the hard way, clearly. Okay, now I'm going to move that out of the way because unfortunately my crocodile does not set eyelets actually I think I've set like one eyelet with it. I don't know if I broke it or if it's just defective, because I've never been able to set another eyelet with it since. So what I have to do, what I have to do is use this little tool here, which has it's a little eyelet setter, and I'll just show you real quick. You put one end in there, you set it on here, like so, and you line them up, make sure it's in, there's like grooves, you set it in those grooves, and then this part, which these are older We Are Memory Keepers eyelets, so they have this inner little ring, which I really like because it makes it look nice and neat. They don't make them like that anymore, I don't think. Last time I looked, they didn't. And then this part, set in that, there's another groove here, and you feel for it, and then you hammer it. Now, I'm working on glass right now, so I'm not going to hammer it on here. So I'm going to turn off the camera, go somewhere else, and put the eyelets in, and then I'll be back. Okay, we have our little eyelets in there where they need to be, and then we just put the elastic in, and this thing's finished. I have this on a string. It's 2mm elastic cord, which again Hobby Lobby does not carry anymore, which is really frustrating because I have bought this on Amazon from somewhere, not this brand, but an elastic from Amazon, and the quality was just horrible. Within a couple uses, it was completely stretched out and couldn't be used anymore. It didn't, it wasn't elastic anymore. And I really like this, so yeah, I don't know where to find good. I'm sure there are probably some suppliers on Amazon that are good, but the specific one I got it from was not. So I'm going to, I have a string here, which I don't think is gonna, well, it might fit in the middle there. So I'm just gonna string it through, and I'm gonna put the knot on the inside. So string it. Oh yeah, it'll fit nicely. It doesn't have to be super tight like that. Redo it. Okay. We want it to be tight enough to hold the elastics. There we go. And tighten it up. Nice and tight. Trim. And then with this elastic, because it is covered in thread, I get, I don't know what you'd call it, some sort of fabric. It comes unraveled. So you take a lighter, this is just a cheapo from probably Dollar Tree, no biggie, and then just kind of just singe the ends of the thread. You don't have to melt the elastic, which occasionally I do. It stinks really bad, so you don't have to do that. Okay, there is for our inserts, and then we're gonna measure some. And the way I like to measure it for the outside, for the closure, is just take it like so, wrap it around kind of snug, like so, which we'll have to trim some off, but that's okay. Now, before I stick it through there, I have a couple charms. I really wanted to use this one, but then I was looking, and I think the snowflake looks better with the cover. It's sticking with that black and white kind of theme I got going on. So, I don't know. Might end up using both. Who knows? But as for right now, I'm going to string on the snowflake. My daughter's. She's standing right over there, and she's showing me something, asking me what I think of it. And it's really cute. So, I had to give her a thumbs up. Alright, so now, I have to remember what I'm doing. And do that. I don't know. It is possible to make them upside down. And just thread it like so. I want it to be fairly snug, so, but not so tight that I wear out my elastic immediately. Time a knot. And of course, I like lots of charms, so I might put more on later, but I'll just hook them on with like a lobster clasp or something like that. I should probably test that before I get too carried away here. Oops, it's going to be upside down. Oh, there we go. That looks nice. And it's snug, but not too snug. I'm going to trim it and singe it. Okay, don't do that. That's what I mean by burning the rubber. That's not necessary. It does. That rubber stays hot for a while. And liquid, so yeah, be careful. Don't stick it to your fabric. Or burn yourself. Okay, and the edges will continue to fray, which, as I've said multiple times in my videos, I like that. So what I do is I just do this right here. Kind of work those threads out a little bit and then just give them a little haircut. As long or short as you want them. And here we have what will be my December daily traveler's notebook cover. So in the next part we will be making the insert to go inside. Yep, I have to say I think I really like that. It kind of gets lost on the cover, but I like that too. So I would have loved to have put red elastic on here, but the red elastic I have is that really cheap stuff that is no good. So we're sticking with black. So alright, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Do let me know by liking or leaving a comment or something, whether you like this video or not, whether it was helpful, or, you know, just let me know what you thought. Thanks, guys. Bye.